Hey guys, it's Tony. I have Carmen here. Kind of want to do a little bit of a progress update with her, but also kind of show you guys where she's at with our relationship. As you can see, she's still a little bit nervous of me, and we've spent quite a bit of time together, not just with food work, but just in the social room. And she gets a little bit flirty, but she still doesn't actually have the full confidence to have a full-on interaction. And be honest, this session here is probably the biggest session that we've had since she arrived, and it still was very simple, very low pressure. I introduce a little bit more social pressure towards the end, but as you can see here, I'm pretty much just dropping a ton of food onto the cot. I start throwing some on the ground to see if she'll start eating it off the ground because that's what she's used to. And when she started doing that, she started eating a little bit more off the cot and being a little bit more interested in actually participating in the activity. One of the big things with Carmen is with how nervous she is, the more expectation you put on these exercises, the farther she backs off, right? And you'll see a couple times where I might have moved in a little too quick or put on pressure a little too fast, made tiny little mistakes. Now, they weren't catastrophic, because there wasn't, nothing really came out of it. But it was a little tiny little hiccup in our session that I got to learn how to avoid a little bit to kind of always promote this curiosity and keep her motivation up to want to be engaged. As you can see, I mean, she's looking to me for more food, constantly like, hey, can I have some more of that? And that's kind of what I've taught her, is to be continuously seeking from me, or when Jamie does food work, seeking from Jamie. And through that seeking, right, the seeking system is a guidance system. If you've ever read anything about neuroscience, that's how we can help her grow. That's how we can help her learn, gain more trust, right, and open her up to more things in the world, and really help her. So again, I'm not really doing much of anything, and this is the most commitment I've got so far. Just putting food on there, and letting her climb up, get her paws on there. And then eventually, you'll see she actually commits a little bit more and gets up on all the way, and all four paws, which was a big moment. It's a little bit out of the norm for her to just climb onto a table or onto a raised platform. But with low pressure, taking expectation off of it, making her think it was her idea, we were able to work through that. And at the end, there was actually a little bit of cooperation where it was a little bit more of not just it being her idea, but me kind of suggesting her to get on, and she took it and she went for it. We had a little bit of a minor interruption there. As you can see, she was very focused on that, and found it very relevant to her that Allie was walking through the room, which it really wasn't a big deal, but to her it is. So we get back into the exercise here, and you'll see it's, she kind of fell off a little bit. That little bit of extra social pressure, that event, that transition, took her back a little bit. And then when she gets going here, she really starts pushing through, and you can see she is participating in the activity a little bit more again. Now what I'm going to do here to kind of help this situation out is I kind of changed my body position. I kind of noticed that she was kind of staying to the side of me in a way, and I wanted to move around the cot a little bit more, so I got to another side of it. So I wanted her to approach it from the long end to have her have to reach farther to get the food. So I continued to kind of leave the trail of breadcrumbs. I continued to promote her to stay on one side of the cot, the narrow side, to make her go long ways, so that when she climbs up right here, there was a better chance that she was going to commit fully and go for it. So you'll see right here, she starts getting up. She's motivated enough to follow all the way through. And this is the first time in an exercise with a handler that she's ever getting onto a cot all the way. She's up there, she engages with me quick. I give her a little bit of food for that. As you can tell, I'm not using any markers here. I'm literally just giving her food as a little bit of reinforcement. No markers. The markers can kind of add a little bit of social pressure, and actually kind of make her want to back off a little bit more. So I don't introduce any markers in this point. I just motivating, getting her to work for the food, a little bit of interaction going on. You'll see when I start reaching in, she knows that I'm motivating her. She knows it's not just her idea anymore, and she continues to seek food from me a little bit more. Now here I pushed a little too hard. See how she backed off a little bit. So I put a little bit too much expectation on. She wasn't super interested. She backs off. So then I start dropping food on the cot, trying to maintain that interest. She wasn't super into it, so she gave up. And that's fine, right? That just shows me where she's at and what I need to do in order to not put that excessive social pressure onto her. So we went for it again. I'm actually running out of food here, but I was still able to get her to get back up there, rewarding her again for my hand. She engaged with me a little bit. I kind of showed her, I'm like, I don't really have anything, because I really didn't. I got a little bit more food, and now I'm actually going to try and lure her on a little bit more. Now I still use food on the cot as my initial trail of breadcrumbs, but I began a little bit with an offering, went into that, and then I go back to waiting for her to commit. I give another offering, she takes it, and that's actually a really huge moment right there, where I offered, she came into it, she's waiting for more rewards, right? That's huge. That's not something she was doing a few months ago. In fact, if you reached towards her like that a few months ago, she would have ran away. And as you can see, I don't have her on the leash to pull her on or guide her on. I have her on the leash in case she were to shut down and get nervous, that she's not going to hit flight mode and run to a corner. But as you can see, that never really happens, right? I never really have to fully use the leash to block flight mode. I could just continue to promote motivation, keep it low pressure, and I got her on one more time before ending our session. It was a wonderful session. I was very happy to see her work through that, and I can't wait to do another one.